Welcome back. We are once again in the garage. We are not doing a garage project today, but we have to use the garage to get access to this project. We are going under our house. In the very corner of this garage is our access to our crawl space. It's only to one little addition. It's like a 20 by 30 foot addition onto the house that has a crawl space. The rest of our house has a full basement. Why they put a crawl space when they added this addition and not a full basement, I don't know. We are not avoiding being outside, but I'm avoiding being outside because it's freezing out there and we don't have any projects we can really do because it's so cold and frozen. It's actually supposed to get to negative 19 Fahrenheit on Monday this week. That is, I want to say that's like negative 30 Celsius, roughly. Very cold. So we're going into this basement. We're going to start slowly working towards digging out this entire basement, this entire crawl space, putting a new foundation on it, and making it into a huge storage for us. So I got myself tucked away in our little storage room. We don't have enough storage in here for everything we'd like to put in here, even though it's not terribly full right now. We've probably quadrupled the amount of food in here in the last year or so, and intend to just continue to add to it. We've only been here for about 2 years, and so we got rid of a lot of our storage before we moved, and we're just slowly building it up with time. So this storage room is not what we would like it to be. We'd love to have a much bigger one. And the interesting thing we have going on is right behind this wall here. You can see through into there. There's actually a concrete wall there, part of our foundation. Behind that is an addition onto our house that has a crawl space in it. It doesn't have the full basement like this part does, it just has a crawl space. So from about here down, I'd say probably about there down, is all dirt. So I'm gonna start the project of digging that out. I'll show you a little bit more, part of the reason why. One reason is we'd like more storage. The other one is this room does not get or stay quite as cold as we would like it to. Even though it's just got the concrete walls on 2 of the walls, so it does stay cooler. The rest of it's all insulated, you can see. That's the part that goes into the rest of the house, so it stays probably about 65 in here compared to a kid's messy room. It's where the kids play, kind of a mess. And right next to that is where we've got the fireplace. Say, what's up? Hi. So that fireplace is just right outside of that storage, which keeps it warmer than we'd like it to be. So if we can get through that concrete wall and put all our storage back in there, it'll stay much colder. So here I am in the garage. We've got this little access that goes down into that crawl space, kind of tucked away. That's how we get down in there. So that whole, this whole back wall, all of that fits under that crawl space. That crawl space is about 20 by 30 foot. So it's about 30 foot across here, and then it's 20 feet back behind me, does that whole crawl space. So you can see we go back there a ways, kind of give you a view from here. There it is down there. So the first place we're going to start is on this beam that runs down the center of this room. I am no engineer, but that beam right there, well, that support, I should say, has been cut off to make space for this furnace to fit in there. I don't think that support's doing me any good. So that's the first thing I want to change. It makes me a little nervous. I mean, that's probably a 15-foot span from the end of that beam to this first support. So the first thing we're going to do, it's also just a 2x12 beam. I'd like to double that and give me a little bit better support there in the middle. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is start digging some new footings down the depth that we want to go for this whole thing, because even this support here just goes down to a concrete footing with that bucket right there. So we're going to have to dig that one down deeper. So that's our first step, is to fix that beam. Then we're going to move on to these outside walls, digging out underneath them and pouring concrete underneath to lower that foundation. Needless to say, this is a very big project. So today is January 1st, 2021. I'm not sure what to use down in this tiny space, so we're going to start with this tiny little camping shovel. We're going to see what that can do. We're going to throw it into this tiny little feed bucket. See how much we can get in there. This might take me 10 years just to get one hole dug. We'll see. There's our first bucketful. That only took, what, 20 minutes? About 20 minutes to fill that up. So that's 3 buckets an hour. Estimate only about 15,000 buckets. That's 5,000 hours of digging we're about to do. Gonna have to put me some lights in here and get me some better tools. All right, this is day 3 in here. It's actually taken, it's probably more like week 3, but it's the 3rd time I've been in here to work on this. It's been slow going with our little shovel. So I got a little pick, had to get a small one so that I could fit down in here. I couldn't swing a big one in here. So I got this little one to help me break it up, and then I can just scoop with the shovel instead of having to actually dig with it. There are 2 separate concrete pours that happen down here. One of them is to the main part of the house. The other one is for the addition that was put on. The main part of the house has a full foundation, I think, as far as I can tell. We're gonna start digging along that and see how far down we can go before we find the actual footing. And then we'll go from there. Besides digging out and doing the foundation, we also need to put some lights down here. We've got one light that's plugged in. That's all the light we've got. Also, I mean, there's a random cord hanging in front of my face. There's more wires hanging around. Some of the insulation's terrible down here. Over here you could see the vent for our dryer. it's not hooked up right. It's not a gas dryer, so we're not getting smoke down in here. It's electric, so it just makes it a little bit humid down here, which is not good. So we got a lot of things to fix down here, but we're gonna start today with digging, see how much we can get dug out so that we can actually move. That's part of our biggest problem, is it's so hard to move down here because it's so tight. So if we can dig some of this dirt out to where we can at least get around a little bit easier, it'll make everything else simpler. Yeah, so I'll just break it loose like that. And you just start scooping into these bags.
Okay.
Don't fill a bag all the way, just do like part way.
Is the black on top?
Yeah. We made it through one day's worth. All we're filling up is these 12 bags, like a quarter of the way. They're just too heavy to move otherwise. So we got a sizable amount done. It's gonna take us a long time at this rate, but the further we get along, the easier it's gonna be. Take this thing off. Oh. So now we just gotta haul these bags out and we're done for the day. We're gonna go eat some dinner. We are quickly realizing the difficulty of moving these bags, dragging them underneath this house. We're crawling on our hands and knees trying to drag these bags. They probably weigh about 40 pounds once we get them full of dirt, so not incredibly heavy, but difficult to drag. So we are going to change how we're doing this. I ran to the hardware store today and I got me one of these they call the block and tackle set. And we're gonna install this in here. We're just gonna put one anchor on this wall so that we have something to tie to, and then we'll work it that way. And I think that way it'll speed up how we're moving this. We can do more than one bag at a time, and one of us can just sit on one end and pull a rope instead of having to crawl back and forth.